Welcome to Alive in the Hive. This is your girl, Chayla. I am so fucking excited about tonight. Do you hear this? I've been listening to this all week. Y'all, you are in for a treat tonight, boy. Let me tell you. Like silk. Yeah, what? Oh, gosh. Today. Who are my music lovers out there? I want to drop a heart, man. Oh, my gosh. Listen, you know what I love about Miss Holly, Miss Lady Holly, who we are talking with today? Not only is she a badass musician, she has her own record label and production company. She is also so freaking intelligent. And I'm not even just talking about intelligence. I'm talking about spiritual intelligence as well. This girl is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman doing her thing in New York. She is an author. She has a whole series called The Big Girl's Bedtime Books. She believes in living your truth. Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked about her. Oh, and are you just hearing it? Her range is fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh, Holly has 22 years of organizational management experience. She is a freaking award winner, a soul singer award winner. I can go on and on about her. I had to write it down because she's so much. Oh my gosh. Award-winning soul artist, mom of 5, 22 years of organizational management experience, right? Own record label, own production company. She is such a versatile performer. It's ridiculous. And most importantly, she brings that goddess energy. So I am going to be checking to see where she's at. We're going to get into this. Before I do, though, my daughter wanted to say hi to the people. So I promised her that she could. I'm going to let her in real quick. Yay! Come say hi to the people real quick. Real quick. Come on.
Hi.
We are having such a fun time in Vegas, baby. Oh my gosh. All right. Let me pull her up. I love my kids so much. That is a diva in the making. Here we go, Holly. Oh. So excited. Oh. Yes, queen.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, baby girl.
How are you? How are you? I say, what's good?
Oh my gosh, love and light to you, love and light to you. Listen,
Yes.
I try to write down so much, right? But you were, my pen was running out of ink, girl.
Oh.
So,
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
oh my gosh, I really like. I want you to share your story, and I really wanted to bring what you're doing to put positive energy out into the planet, out to the forefront as well, right? So, listen, I could go into everything, but the very, very first question I want to ask you, because I know you're going to speak from your heart and speak truth and speak wisdom to the people who are listening right now. How important is it to step out in fucking faith?
That's everything. I think when you go down for your like what is important to you in bringing in getting my happiness back, or finding what the source of my joy was, what was paramount or quintessential in that discovery was faith, right? So faith is that thing that propels you. Some people will call it their why. Like, you know, you've been to different other moments. It's like, what's your why? What's your great big thing, or your goal, or the thing that propels you? And for me, it definitely is that faith. It is that faith that is beyond faith, that mustard seed of faith. That is that moment of, how do you get to the next level? How do you take on the next thing? How do you wake up in the mirror and go, oh, okay, Goddess, we got to do this again today, when you have your back against the wall. And in the times of joy, um, faith and more, and then faith for me, and then grace, right?
Yeah.
Come bundled in this thing, because for me it is all about love frequency. And so faith and grace come in this package of how you respond to the world around you. Sitting in love frequency, it's like, how do you respond, and how do you tap in? So for me, faith
Listen,
is important.
I say it all the time, man, and I preach it. You got to tap into that goddess energy. But people in general, we are all born for this unique moment in time with a purpose, and some people will go their whole lifetime never recognizing that within themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are specially placed in this moment in time for great purpose, you know?
You better
Oh my
believe it. I
gosh.
love that. That's it.
My goodness, my goodness.
It's like, for
It's
such a time as
important.
this.
That's right. Like right now, even talking to you, I think that it's meant to be, man. But we have to recognize the
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Spreading joy out into the world. So please, I want you to talk a little bit specifically about your life as a singer songwriter, how it evolved. Um, Lady Holly has a website, and her phrase is that she's been doing this since she could breathe, right? Music is her life, right? When you are an artist, I say this all the time too. It's not what we do, it is who we are. It is who we are.
Yes.
It's what we breathe. So please talk about your story. When did you start singing? How did you discover this gift?
I don't even know that I discovered it. I'm gonna give that to my mama. I'm gonna say that, as moms, we overhear our children. I think one of the most beautiful moments is to overhear your child in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And so when you've got that bathtub moment, what amazes me is that all of a sudden you hear this side to your child, that and they're in their own imagination, right? You're in this imaginary state. And I think for me, I wasn't just in an imaginary state. I was producing. I was having a whole movie set. Like Barbie and her friends, they were my relatives, and that, like, they were in my stuff. And so you're singing with them, and even times when you don't have like toys in the tub, just to give things voice. Peter and the Wolf was like one of the things that, like, I know I've made my children listen to it. I don't know how many people actually go back and enjoy the classical music of it all, but the fact that each of the characters had a sound, right,
Yes.
was riveting for me. So like Broadway, I grew up on a lot of what I would call musical theater before anything else. Even though my cousin Carter played for Slave, and my pop is the head of the brass construction. We had the Ohio Players, like another cousin worked for Prince. Like, so people worked in the music industry. And then my aunt and my uncle, so my aunt was a cabaret singer. Both my aunts were cabaret singers. And then both of their husbands were, jazz bassists. And so it was a musical household. You had to play piano, because it was, lessons were formative. And so for me, it was flute and piano. For my brother, it was saxophone and piano. My mom played guitar and piano, and had a very beautiful voice. And so we didn't grow up in that churchy vibe. I grew up Unitarian Universalist. I'm from California. My mother's a diehard hippie, independent.
Yes. Shout out to the mom hippies.
Goddess. Total goddess, right?
That's right, baby.
So she was on her evolutionary track, and so yeah, she believed in, that your children are from you, but they are not you, and so she
Mm.
encouraged everything that was artistic in me, um, and so that for me was the foundation. So that was how I kind of got my musical roots, and then by the time I was 15, I had done my first commercial. Um,
Uh,
and so, yeah, no, it was fun to be able to be allowed that freedom in my household, and like everybody either sang, played an instrument, like Christmas or in the holidays, Noche Buena, like all of the things that we celebrate, Kwanzaa is always filled with music, and even now to this day, like my daughter is about to release her double album. My son just released his EPK, his rap album. My other son has this baritone that's like reminiscent of like Nat King Cole, and my youngest daughter just did her stint at the musical theater camp Frenchwoods. So we always encourage the arts ever since I was little in my house. So
oh
everybody,
boy.
yeah, arts and dance.
Golly. Now you were a part of the International Performers Union.
Mhm.
So explain how that happened.
Gavriti Paruski Ochin Harasho. So I spun a globe. I spun a globe, and I was sitting with like my strategic thought leadership, and they were like, "Well, where do you want to go?" And you got to drop the wood off of Hollywood. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "You have to drop it because California, might fall off. Hollywood might fall into the ocean." And so I did. I took the wood off, and I became Lady Holly. And in doing so, I was doing a lot of house music, soul, but like house soul. And went over, started touring, and started getting gigs overseas. And so when I spun the globe, I was like, yeah, it would be great. And so when I spun the globe, my finger landed in Siberia, but I wound up going to Moscow, and I had the best time in Moscow. So 6 months later, after I spun the globe, a good friend of a friend called, and actually then we started, and he was in Russia, and he has been in Russia for the longest time. So he is the first African American DJ to go to Russia and never come back, because he
Wow.
lives there, he has children there, he has his own radio station there now. And Jan Ravitsa, Moskva, I love Moscow. I love Moscow loves me. I wanted to be like Lola Falana was to Italy,
Mm,
and Josephine Baker was to Paris. So I am
mm.
definitely, Grace Jones had her moment at the Moscow casino, but I spent more time, and I got to tour with not only MC Pavlov, but then always when I come in, Sergei Mazayev from Morale Codex, which was the song Das Vidanya Mama. So anytime I'm in a ecosphere of that wonderful musician, like we always do like something together, and then Igor Bootman was a hell of a jazz saxophonist. So there was just a whole community who were there when I was there, and so it was just a great time to
Yeah.
go over, and that's when I started singing overseas.
Unbelievable. The personal evolution that you went through during that time, though, I want you to touch on that because I watched one of the snippets you had. I know that you actually you're a legit motivational speaker and get on stages and
Oh,
really inspire people with your story. And I want you to go there because I think that story is
mm,
so important to share, to tell people that you know what, you grow through anything and you can be okay,
yeah.
so please go in. Spread your light, girl, spread your light. This is why I brought you on. I want you,
Oh,
you are all love and light,
I
all love and
so
light.
appreciate you. So, like for me, that was really pivotal. And shout out to our sisters and Kelly Hager and Jane Storm and Omar Ohanahan. Charge it to my head, Omar. Um, and so I don't know who found who online, and I got this note one day. I think it was Jane Storm actually found me and was like, "I want you to work on your speakers reel, or don't you want to work on your speakers reel?" And I was like, yeah, I do. Like, how do you know? And I had just done E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. I had done everybody pretty much except for Tony Robbins. I had done, Lisa Nichols. Trying to get to a certain level of speaking and to round out my my journey in terms of being able to bring something different to the world, and to be able to start to touch souls instead of touching just people. So entertainment is one thing, but then how do you take it to this next level and transcend past that and transmute this energy into a full live brand of who you are, in your divinity. Like, part of it is you're born sovereign, but to choose a divine path, to choose a different way to go was special. And so when I tell you, was planning a trip to take my mom for her 80th birthday, my 50th birthday, my daughter for her 14th birthday to Egypt. Had no idea how I was paying for any of it, coming off of a really, really, really interesting divorce. And so didn't care. And so at one point, I had my one-way flight there. I had halfway paid for the course, and I was like, I don't know if I'm making it. And Kelly was just like, Kelly Hager, the Hagermeister. She was just like, Holly, what are you talking about? You're gonna be here. You're gonna do your speakers reel. You're gonna be dynamic. I expect greatness from, like, I see it in you. And she said the one word that I think describes you the most is determination.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, left my notes for my homework on my desk in my office, in the airport, like trying to figure out what I was doing. Of course, got to California, shot my speakers reel, because the universe will always provide in
Yes,
that
it will.
moment. And so
Yes, it will.
just
I
thinking
did.
that it wouldn't was, I don't even understand where I was going.
Holly, I wrote a song about this myself, man. It's literally called "Where There's a Will, There's a Way to Love." You know what I'm saying? So that was the message that was given to me. That is my belief system, and I really believe that when you are called to do something, right, it's gonna work itself out. It's gonna work itself out, and I know for a fact you were called to great purposes. So, you know what I'm saying? You're just all love and light, all love and light. I'm gonna just shower you with
Oh,
that.
it's been an interesting day. This new moon energy. I just did a sound vibrational moment on Clubhouse with my tribe, and we were, just got my moon water ready. I'm not an altar person. I live intentionally, so I'm not really into altars, and I don't subscribe to that part, because I still hold on to very, a big piece of my Christ consciousness. And so,
It's
yeah,
a
so just,
fusion.
yeah,
Spirituality is a fusion, right,
yeah.
Mama? Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe it's not just like to say one thing is absolute and reject something from something else or somebody else's belief.
Yeah.
That's not my place to say you're wrong in what you believe. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I think it's a little bit of everything. The universe is everything,
it's
everything, and it's
expansive.
all within us.
Yeah, no, it's
You know?
expansive, and that mirror reflection of you and me, like, so that moment of knowing. And I think that's part of that part of my next speech, which is now people are like, oh, like one of the ones I'll tape is like around this feminine and masculine energy and the duality of your spirituality, knowing that we're every book is really the same. There's no belief system that is wrong. It's the difference is that you believe it, right? And so whether you believe it or not, you could say you still believe. Like, my daughter is 15. I can tell you she stopped believing in the spirit of Christmas and Santa Claus when she turned 14, and that is because during Noche Buena, as a family, we cocoon that experience to the point where even my friends know. They're like, wait, are you going to bake the cookie? Do you have to eat it? Who's doing Santa this year? Like, how is it all going down? Like, it was intentional to let my children have that experience for as long as they could hold on to it. Because if you could hold on to that, and then there was always a present that always winds up in my house, which is a couple of teddy bears, which is interesting, that no one claims buying. And so, when I get to this level of, that's what is it in the Wiz? If you believe, like, Dorothy had the whole power the whole way along. Like,
Yes.
she if she sat in her knowing, she'd have clicked her heels. We would have had no movie. We wouldn't have, it wouldn't have been expansive. But on her journey, I think when you pull it apart and you realize, the LSD moment, the poppy field, be darned. When you think about going on a journey, where you don't, or where the perception is that you don't know where you're headed,
Mhm.
and then the universe brings you everything that you need, and that you have it sometimes within you. So the very part of what she needed, the very part of what the lion hat needed or thought he needed, the very part of what the scarecrow thought he needed, um, and the Tin Man, you know. So that when you get to the end of that movie, the beauty of it is, it's like, whoa, hell yeah, hell yeah, we got to Oz. Hell yeah, we didn't even really need to go there. We had, we had it all along. We've been carrying it all along, and
Mhm.
sometimes it takes someone to show that to you. Sometimes it is that. Expansive trip where people want to delve into their spirituality in the sense where they feel that they have to, like now people doing ayahuasca. I will, from before ayahuasca there was something called the Holy Spirit, like getting in spirit in a Pentecostal church and watching somebody fall to the ground and not know, and speak in tongue, and you're sitting there like, they don't know, is that performative or is that like real? And then they wake up and
It's
it's
real to them. It's real to
real to
them.
them
It's
in
real
that
to the
moment.
person experiencing it. That's
Yep.
exactly right.
And
You know
so,
what I'm saying? And who am I to judge what your
yep.
real experience, what your truth is? You know, it's different for there's commonality between each and every one of us because we are connected, but your truth is your truth. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
so and you gotta live it. You gotta live it. And you gotta live it not caring what people think of
Right.
you, you know?
Right. And that for me is that's the big part, is like, people go, oh, how do you do that? You do that because, um, you do that because you don't want to block your own blessing, because it's like it'll be
Exactly.
like a gerbil wheel. It can be like a
Girl.
gerbil wheel. It can be like, oh, I'm gonna get right back on, because if it's for you, you'll notice that you'll just get right back on the wheel. You'll just get, it'll
Yeah, you
just,
will.
it's like, oh, I'm doing this again, like, oh my goodness, I'm living 3 lifetimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you still haven't stepped into your destiny path. And so yeah,
Mm.
we're gonna replay it one more time. It's like the Matrix. You look at
Yeah, it is.
the movies that resound wholeheartedly for me, or have been transformative, and at a level of evolution that just makes sense. There's just certain stuff that you're just like, okay. It's like the term, I'm gonna have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah, no, of course you can have your cake and eat it too. But is the cake that's made of the flour and the traditional stuff, that even if it's made of the gluten-free stuff and all the sugar, is the cake really good for you? Is it serving you? So you can
Yeah.
have the cake all you want to. It's whether or not your body requires and needs that level of unsubstantiated substance. Like there's nothing to
Absolutely.
a cake that's going to really, really make your body,
Absolutely.
move and fire on all pistons, other than the sugar rush. And then you come down, and then what do you have, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's knowing. So that belief system for me is very important, and that's that faith and that grace, right? That I circle back to, that enable me to stay motivated to do it. And like,
Yeah.
I embody Wonder Woman, so everybody knows that I'm a Wonder Woman, that I am Wonder Woman, she is me. That's like my goddess princess, who that I embodied a long time ago, because it was all about the truth.
Yeah.
And so when I watched um, was 1884, I was just like, damn, man, they're telling my damn story, right? And they're telling it on so many levels. And and you know the story, when you fall in love, all of a sudden she almost gave up everything that she was for this
Yeah.
mortal dude. And I was like, nope, did that already. I already married the mortal. I was like, Superman needs, that is a real thing for me. People are like, what does that mean? It's like, I can't, the mortal experience is great, but I like the godliness. I like the God goddess living. I like being in divinity. I like people who are impeccable with their words. Um, I enjoy and I derive sustenance from the evolutionary experiences of the people that I meet, and the people that
Listen. Oh man, I'm gonna have to do some more research on this because listen, I know that there are a plethora of people out there that truly believe that you need someone to partner up with to be able to like, and maybe that's your divinity path, right? But
hmm
I just know that there are strong ass, kick ass women out there. For me, people don't get it. I do not need somebody else to fulfill me, right?
right,
And my belief system is that, you know, everything that we need is within ourselves.
Yeah.
right? Everything else is just a perk. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But you can't base like your happiness and your success in life on somebody else filling that, you know?
Correct.
And like I talk about just nurturing yourself, feeding yourself
Heck
so
yeah.
that you can grow into your own authority and walk in that. You know what I'm saying?
Heck yeah.
So that, people don't get it. So what are your words for that, man?
Um,
Because we're older now too, Mama. So
right.
it's like, I think this is something. All of this goddess path that we walk on, right?
Hmm.
I think it is a process because you have to grow in maturity and wisdom and insight. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's a part of the process. So yeah, but talk about that. Talk about that.
So yeah, that is exactly the path. It's like once you understand the modality that is yours. So for me, I know that there's a level of healing through my voice and through my energy, just being right, and understanding what that means. And for a lot of my clients, or I call them my Booski clients, the ability to see through them, um, and see them so that we can start to peel back where they're not honest about living in their truth. And so my practice became know thy sex to know thyself, because
Hmm.
I didn't I could never wrestle with this thing about how could we be a goddess? How could we be boss bad Wonder Women, and we're marginalized and less than when we are the womb holders? And so uh, it just never sat with me to be a thing. And I was just like, of course there got to be lost books. So that, like, of course there's things that are missing. Of course the story hasn't been told correctly. Um, for me to believe or subscribe to it in just one kind of avenue. Um, and there is a twin flame aspect of life. I think that for those that get to understand a twin flame, um, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the twin flame is your soulmate, nor does it mean that that's the person that you wind up being with. Um, for me,
I think, Holly, have you heard there have been I've heard people talk about there are always more than one soulmate. Like
mhm,
people get that twisted. They think that a soulmate is just one person, and it's really, really not. So,
no,
can you share a little bit
it's
about
not.
that too?
I've been blessed. I have been blessed to have that in my life. That's part of my destiny path. Is that so if I write love songs and I write books about love and I coach on love and sexuality and spirituality, how can I go through the human experience and not be in it? Right? You
Hmm.
can't. There's just no way. And so I've been blessed. So my soulmate was someone who I manifested. I, with my prayer partner, said I wanted X, right? And I said, I want that or the divine equivalent. And in a matter of, days, I don't even know if it was months, that person walked through my house. And we wound up having a lifetime of love that has spanned, well over. So my twins they're going to be 30, they're 31. Or 31. So yeah, 30. So it's been like 30 years of knowing this person. We did not marry each other. We did not have children together. Like, there's just so much that didn't happen, but we are the best of friends. Um, and we care about each other. We love each other in a way that just doesn't make sense, to most people other than us. Um, and he can call me out on my shit, and I can call him out on his, and I apologize. I didn't mean to curse. Um,
It's all
and
good. You're allowed. It's
Okay, good.
Instagram.
All right, good. I was like, so he can call me out on his, and it is to be able to recognize that we were afforded that experience and to not find it robbery, to still be good to each other. And we get into it like sailors. Like, I curse like the best of them, and we can get angry because we're both creatives. He is a wonderful, wonderful producer, and we are in business together. And so we can get angry and we can fight, but at the end of the day, he always knows that he's like around the way girl, that I'm the original. Like, I need an around the way girl. Like, he knows that he's got a ride or die in his camp, who on the rip is always going to have his side. Who doesn't need that in their life? And I know that I have the same. And then I met my husband, my ex-husband, and for a while, I really thought that was my soulmate. I really did. He was my He was there to facilitate my youngest two children coming into this world, and to close the gap in my family in a sense, right? So we understand that that was a season, and so wouldn't necessarily call him a soulmate. I would definitely call it a season. Loved him until I didn't, and so for me that was not a soulmate experience. And then the universe brings me these moments that I don't shy away from. And so I've met beautiful souls who potentially were not for me for any length of time. They were there for the moment, or they were there for me to learn the lesson, or they were there for me to speak life and encourage them. And I really, really honestly believe that. I think a lot of people harden their heart to that, and I don't. I am very much aware that when I harden my heart to, like, I'm not doing that anymore, I'm not falling in love anymore, like that's I can never do that. I'm always going to vibrate in the love frequency, and the love frequency
Yeah,
is where we're supposed to
man. I think if you live just in love with life,
be. Right, that part.
right? You open yourself up to so many good things.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes,
You just gotta love life and people, you know what I'm saying? And still
yes.
hold that sovereignty that you keep in yourself. Like I'm not encouraging anybody to go out there and be like freaking frivolous with themselves, because your body and yourself is a holy temple, you know what I'm saying? And I've talked about this before too,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to intimacy. I believe that is a spiritual encounter. I believe that's a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
encounter. It's two souls sharing each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's not necessarily even in a sexual way, man. Like it's in a connection way. Do you understand connection?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so.
No, that is so real.
And I was talking to people because I know you get it. I was talking to people out there.
Yeah, no, and it's in a world where we are, and this is not a disrespect. It is a celebration of the fact that we can get to a place where Lizzo can take her clothes off and feel comfortable, and Cardi B can talk about WAP, and Megan, in a way that puts women in this, again, that boss babe moment, right, where they are saying, you know what, if we did half of the stuff that men did, what would be the terms that we get called? So this patriarchal society that we have come up in, even now, to the ruling around what we can do with our bodies, when we still get raped. And so people don't understand that in a time where there are still arranged marriages, there are still people who believe that it's okay to have sex with young women under a certain age. It's like, no. Whereas sex is sacred, and I'm actually doing a retreat at the end of this month, during the solstice, around sacred sexuality. That is what it's called. And so we're doing a lot of different components of breath work, and tantric touching, and just a definite awareness of what we would call the sacred part of enjoying your sexuality, even though you are spiritual, even though you are on sometimes what would be a celibate or a semen retentive, perspective, so that you can have a personal breakthrough. So when you do have sex, that you're having better sex, so that you're having sacred sexuality, so you understand yourself at a different level. So for me, once I learned Tantra, I was like, ooh. Once I learned deliberate orgasm and oming, and I was like, I need to teach the world this. Nobody knows.
I know.
Women know. I don't know that men know.
Women know.
And so
You know what? Goddesses know, baby.
goddesses know. There you go. Because we're the teachers of it. Once, it's like
That's
we're
right,
the
baby.
goddesses know. And so, yeah, and so being able to allow people to take back their joy point and their pleasure, and not feel guilty about it, even if they have a partner, if they don't have a partner. So we're living in community. Benicia Jones, it was fantastic. She curates these experiences called Sacred Ceremonies of Self-Love, and she was just like, Lady Holly, need you on the bill. This is in your wheelhouse. I was like, all right, well, watch me whip, watch me nay nay, and I'm bringing in the Chia Pavone, and we have a host of different sacred solutionists, Earthly Bruja. There's just a ton of us, Ty the Oracle. Like, we're really coming in to do this work in a way that is that is absolutely part of your evolutionary spiritual journey, but owning the fact that you are a sexual being. Energy, when you start to live in love frequency, one of the things about it is automatically you're going to experience your kundalini energy. Of course you are. Of course you're stepping into being a goddess. Of course you are. There's no secret to that. Which is why I'm like, okay, certain stories you're just like, I don't subscribe to the fact that he lived amongst men and didn't have sex. I can't, like, certain stories don't resonate with me. No. But then how do you make that sex, because of the nature of the spirituality, because of the connection, because of the nerve endings of the clitoris to the penis, so, and womb holders versus semen holders, and knowing that ultimately you can create this thing, right? Ultimately that union creates a thing. And I'm not talking about anyone who is of another gender or has another feeling about their sexuality. I'm talking about heterosexuality in terms of procreation, or womb holder and semen holder, right? That moment is an interesting moment versus, say for instance, a same-sexual partner, because for genitalia purposes, even though you're doing different things, to learn how to touch your partner and hold them in a revered way, where you're not seeking the big finish and you are seeking to please them, is that sacred sexuality, is that moment of being selfless in the act, is that deliberate orgasming, making sure you're getting into this heightened level of awareness and then having sex. Like, it is much more fulfilling. It is less what I would call the pornographic moments of sexuality, where people unfortunately have been sitting home for so long that they are kind of,
They're missing
they're
connection.
dead. They're not, they've lost touch. I
Yeah.
literally said that. I went into this practice because I was like, oh my God, these devices are creating it so that there's no touch. And that's unfortunate. You're starting to see, I know when I grew up, and sex clubs were very, very on the hush hush, and now they're just like overly publicized. Everybody's trying to get some. I was like, wait, are we going back to like the sexual revolution? Like, where
Yeah,
are we?
I want to jump in real quick too about this. I have listen.
Yep.
I think nobody out there should be a bandwagoner. Alrighty,
Mm-hmm.
when you like jump into these things, right? Anything. Don't just do it because other people are doing it, and like, I think there are a lot of things out there that could be dangerous if you do not have a strong sense of who the fuck you are. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So just be careful for that. Be careful that I don't judge what anybody does. I really don't.
Yeah.
But know who you are when you're doing it is something I just want to put out there real quick, since you touched on it, because yeah, it could be a sexual revolution, it could be any kind of revolution. I think this is important that we're talking about, because I don't believe in keeping your mouth shut about topics that need to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
this is a part of life. This is a part of how we are made. It's in our DNA. So
Yes.
it's something that shouldn't be taboo to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Because the people need to learn, and people need to learn things in a healthy way. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, work to know who you are, and then explore to
Yep.
become more of who you are. Because I'm telling you, what winds up happening is, if you just jump without knowing who you are, you're going to be going in a different direction than your destined path.
Oh
All
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
So
When I was,
I want to just put that out there.
and don't get it wrong, I didn't always know. There was a point at which I was so I was in music, I was in hip hop, and it was so misogynistic, it was so male oriented, that it was that focus of where I was just like, all right, well, let's tag and bag, like, I can, if they can hoe, why can't I hoe, like, right? And then, is it about the bodies, is it about the number of conquests, what's important? And then as a woman, you don't want to do that, because then it does lose, and you become very desensitized to what's important to you. And so now it's like, even in some of the curated experiences that I do, Golden Rose Yoni, like we will do sacred yoni steaming, massage, and Reiki and reflexology. And so, and then, a lot of my clients who have had a lot of what I would call just frivolous sex are starting to take their sexuality back in a way where they're, clearing, cutting their cords from these relationships, and really making a stance on making it special. Like when they're going to have this experience, they want it to be something of value. And it is where you place value. If it doesn't have value for you, and then all of a sudden you realize that oh, why am I doing it? Well, yeah, because it doesn't have. Do you even remember the person's name?
Yes.
This for me. There's a lot of tolerance for you know there's a whole now a whole, I think, an app now around a lot of the sexual promiscuity has led to a lot of sexually transmitted diseases in a sense, but like this new generation don't care about that because we've pushed all the prophylactics and the way that this works, that they just like, what, if I like this person, I'm going to continue to have sex with them, and we can make it work through this X, Y, and Z. So it's very different than when I grew up, where you were very selective and careful about your partnership. The fact that you can slide left or right and go get some at the drop of a dime anywhere you are is, that's telling of where we are in society, that
Yeah,
we're not
and
valuing it.
Holly, girl, I'm telling you, like, listen, the way I believe it, even if that's your thing, more power to you, but
Yep.
know who you are while you are doing it. All right. I'm talking to those people that have no clue, have no clue. You have got to have a strong
Yeah.
foundation, sense of self. You know what I'm saying? To understand what you're getting into, or else take the pause, take the step back. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that pause is so important, man. It really is. It really is. Just taking the pause to think before you act.
Yeah.
You know?
In my practice, it's interesting. I have more men than I have women because I thought I was a dude for so long. I resonated with men because I was just in that world, and I gave them a lot of grace, and so um, to have men who now are in their 30s and 40s practicing to not have sex, consciously, to want to have more in a relationship than just the physical part, is such a beautiful story for me. Like that actually makes me like almost tear up every time that happens, and regardless of whether they're in, whether not, no gender lines here. It's just all about um, the know thyself part. Knowing that they do like sex, like knowing who they are sexually, helps them to know what they're looking for. So when they get back out there and they want to play ball again, but knowing that there is a, a, a deliberate reason to want to have sex. Yes, there's a release to it, but that they want to cherish more of the special sensual moment than sensual moments rather than the big finish, and teaching them to wait, and to be deliberate, and that the big finish is not always the big finish, and that there are other things to do. So just getting into what I call non vanilla sex is for me something that changed my life. And so for them to be exploring the world of kink and BDSM, and shout out to my favorite, which is shibari, and like getting into a world of what I would call meaningful. Like I think the reason why I like shibari is because it takes about 20 minutes to half an hour to tie the ropes.
Yeah.
So to be able
I
to
love Shibari. The art is so
so
spectacular. I've been to a couple of shows,
oh
and it's just like absolutely, absolutely a gorgeous artistic
yeah,
practice. And yeah, it's one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things
yeah, man.
as well.
And so, once you start to go down the avenue of, you know, and again, like you said, I love the preface. It's like I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm saying what people that I come in contact with are looking for. The 31 flavors, the Baskin Robbins of it all. The how do I have everything in life, every flavor? I want to try it all, and to hold it in a place of value is tremendous in this day and time, and to be able to help impact those decisions and to work with folks, because everybody doesn't know what they're doing, and everybody doesn't take the time. They think that that's easy, or they think that it's just simple. No, a relationship requires work. Sexual relationship requires some deliberate thought about it. There should be some
Mhm.
fun to it. There should be some amore. There's
Yeah.
got to be something that is in the chase of it, the into the thick of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, there's got to be some more to it. And so, other than that, it's about 20 minutes. You know what I mean? And then what do
Yeah.
you do? And if you don't like the person, then what do you do? And if you don't like cuddling, then what do you do? Like, it's
Man, oh man.
so many things. So yeah,
Give
so
it.
that's one fun part of my life. Yes.
Man, and I feel like as a songwriter, like I feel like this is just my opinion. I feel like I have a direct connection, right? A
Mhm.
direct connection to a supreme being that sort of like just fills me with like music and things to write, and the way I perceive the world is so much differently, and I just feel so, so connected. And this is like beyond being an empath, because you could be empathetic but
Mhm.
also not a songwriter and know how to translate it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, your experiences, how have they evolved as far as like your music writing goes? I know that you have new things coming out as well, new
Yes.
music,
Yeah.
and I want you to talk about that.
Um, Wow. So music wise, I think for me, like the love song or the R&B of it all was something that I just always love. I will always be able to write a good, really good ballad, and people have people say, "Oh, you make baby making music." Yes. Clearly, I have 5 kids. I was making babies. I knew I can do a check. I got that box. So uh, how do you evolve from the love of it as you come out in and out of different experiences in your life. And so when I began learning how to what was called oming, that I've retooled as euphoric orgasmic meditation, um, is that I didn't realize that you could have that kind of euphoria in through orgasm, and then understood my manifestations, and how to manifest, kundalini, tantra, and all these different things that were running around in my head once I had gotten to my what I call my liberation. So my music skewed. Um, as I, had, different experiences post, this marriage that had been a long time, of just a monogamous relationship. And I always had boyfriends, but I didn't have, I wasn't what people would call promiscuous. I had like, I would have that stand-in boyfriend for a period of time. People knew him, my family knew him, that kind of thing. Um, and so my music took on, I got angry in my music,
Hmm.
post divorce. I got angry, not on the depressing, like that kind of lamentation love, but more on the, like Mary J. Blige, like, I'm gonna burn your whole damn house down. um, you know
The vengeance.
the
You're on
vengeance,
the
the
vengeance
vengeance
kick.
R&B, and and then I went to all the stuff around sexuality, and all the stuff around, um, doing the play on words and these entendres of, like, there's one song called "Naked," and it's like, I want to see you naked, and but it really didn't mean naked meaning undressed. It's naked meaning
Yeah,
soul. I want to
yeah.
see your soul. Well, that's what's sexy to me. Like, I'm a sapiophile. Like, there's like one lyric in it. It's just like, one of the singles that's coming out now. It's like, um, uh, I laugh because it was like, I let you come in my bed. Like, you didn't, you got there because I did it, not because you did it. And so it's like, I let you come in, I let you get in my head, I let you come in my bed. And so people were like, "Oh, you mean the actual physical art of?" I was like, "No, the whole moment. Like, it's bigger than that." Um, and then getting to a state of, like, I can't eat, I can't dream, I can't sleep. um just, it was that whirlwind kind of a romance, and it was fantastic, and until it wasn't, and it was great, and we're friends to this day, um and have a respect for each other, but it was all about the sex. It was we actually we're both at a point in our lives where we just, that's what we wanted to do, you know and then, probably right after I did that speech, um, I started to work with my metaphysical therapist on Dr. Heather Perriman, who's a beast, and Dr. Jewel Pookrum, and Queen of Fu. I had already studied Queen of Fua, and I was just like, wow, there's more to me.
Hmm.
And I started to, you know, really embody the words queen. People used to call me Queen Mother all the time. Then people started calling me Goddess. Then understanding oracles and Mami Wata and going to Egypt and doing that next level of study after the 42 principles of Ma'at and reading just the books that I was reading. Then Jose Arguelles, the Four Agreements, and turn giving over to 13 moons versus a 12-month calendar, the sidereal versus the tropical of my horoscope, and my human design, and during doing NMT therapy, I decided I was like, you know what, I gotta heal people. And so in that healing work, it was like, okay, well, where were you when you consult your ancestors? And so doing my ifa and understanding your orishas and your egun and your ancestors and how they play a part in your destiny path, to be able to tap into that, and to know where things fall, or what you subscribe to and where you place value, and understanding ancient rituals and libations and why we do certain things, and why those things aren't taught, and why it was so difficult to find a copy of the Metuneter and to understand the language, the first language. Kind of propelled me into that goddess energy. So being tall, I'm 5'11". I had already been, you can't tell me nothing. I put on heels, it's over for you. And so if you're not 6 foot something, you can't hang out with me. I'm just tall. And so to step into that superpower of being tall, and having this voice, you know what I mean? Like, so I was like, wow, so you've already got the tools. How do you then take it to the next level? And so once you embrace being a goddess, you can't go back. And so
No.
then my music had to evolve from there. It's like, and it was my soulmate. Like, he literally was just like, I don't care all the stuff you've ever done. He was like, this right here is, do this right now. Cause this is so embodies everything that you're doing right now in this moment. Do that. And I was like, all right.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
my music took a turn. And I was like,
Miss Holly, Miss
got
Holly,
it.
golly, can you sing us a little something while we are on the topic of your writing? Just
You
can
got
you just go there from the heart?
so I was gonna say if I can sing it, or let's see if you can hear it. Can you hear it? Goddess, you didn't choose a path, you answered a calling. And know in your heart of hearts the ancestors chose you, queen. Descendant of Eve, you a warrior, just Diana. There is a sacred life force energy that the universe wraps you up in. So wrapped up in love, don't fret all that you seek. The solace is sweet, and you have to be okay with a certain distinct distance when you call on your Dafa, our champion elders, down to your father. Ask them for advice and for the guidance. I need to release you from who and what doesn't serve, salute, or support you. Ra, remember, and don't focus on anything that lowers your vibration. Keep focus, elevation to the 917. So that's like, da 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 da. You are a goddess. And it's just like, it's
That's
not.
right, baby. That's right. That's right.
It's like,
You are. I am.
yeah,
Oh,
man.
had that proactive language, and I love it. It does. Where we are at in our lives greatly impacts what comes out of us as musicians, right? So
Yes.
I'm just so looking forward to seeing what you're going to be doing from this point onward. I love getting the fuck older, man. I love it because let me tell you, I'm stepping into my glory and
Yes.
mm, mm, mm,
Yes.
stepping into my glory, man. Uh, love
Yes.
it, love it. I age backwards. You know this?
That's what I say. I looked at my abuela and I was like, when she got older, and I was like, oh, I get it. I'm gonna go back. Oh, I got it. I was like, oh, I
Hmm.
shouldn't have rushed.
Right?
I shouldn't have rushed. I was like, I got
Oh,
you. And then,
oh gosh. And then as a mom too, just building strong children, man.
yes,
Building strong, confident people, and knowing that none of it is the external. This is, we are talking about soul condition, people. We are talking about get your mind right. It's the soul. It is your spirit, right? That is what is eternal.
Yes.
And that's what you need to see yourself in. You got to start looking at yourself from that spiritual
Heck yeah.
perspective.
Heck yeah. Like literally, oh my goodness. Like today has been such a just meditative, reflective, going into this, Virgo energy. And I'm a Cancer, so it's like on one side of the house, and or potentially a Gemini if you look at the other side of the house. And it's just it's like it's this water energy, and very much about intentionally like focusing on what the next thing is, and putting energy behind it. And so doing from the Lionsgate portal to now has been an incredible energy surge, and an incredible period of manifestation for not just me but people around me, like my tribe, my
Mm-hmm.
family, to have a tribe, to have a pride. Like we gotta say tribe, and then we're like pride, more like lions. We're like, you know, and to know that we are moving forward to intentionally live together in community, and to really heal people, and to really do the work to
Yeah.
heal what we can touch, the things that we can control, or not control, the things that we manifest, and are able to do with our hands, back to like some basics, farming, and making our own products, and supporting each other's businesses, and really doing the things that we're supposed to be doing, instead of this mass consumption high, being all over the place. COVID really taught, this whole pandemic taught us about, reliance and resilience in a way, and expressing gratitude to the universe for that experience, for bringing us together. And family is important, not just the family that you're born into, but the family that you then you fall in love with, and then
Yeah,
you bring
absolutely.
into your fold, and then you work together. I think people are subscribing to wanting to do this polyamorous lifestyle. It's like, before you think about that part, can you just get the living in community part down? Like,
Yeah, right?
before, but let's do that first. Because if you can't really afford to take care of yourself, how are you going to afford to take care of multiple wives? And I'm like, I subscribe to the fact that I'd like two husbands. But
I don't like getting husbands. I don't want animals.
but I don't want, right. I was like, I don't
No,
want to call
no.
them husbands. I was
Yeah.
like, can we just? There's this woman in Africa. She's got seven of them, and she bought them all houses, or built houses for all of them. And I
Yeah.
was like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. And she was like, she picks whichever one she wants, and she has her own house. So that I was like, this could work. This could happen.
Right.
But they live in community, and I was like, there's something to, not having the ability to always feel that you have to have children. For women who are in community, it's like, I would love to have a sister wife sometime. Like, oh my God, yes. I'd like to help raise children, and to help me be the wind beneath my wings, so I can get to manifest my thing. It's not always about birthing a child. It's sometimes about birthing a thing, a business, an idea. And so,
Mm-hmm.
my universal tribe is because the universe is that, like, your womb space is for womb holders is one thing, but if you are on the divine masculine side, and you understand who you are on your feminine duality, then you understand what I mean when I say that. And that, having brothers and sisters and souls to, be able to live with, and share, and
Yeah.
and feel as though you are achieving the desires of your heart, and being able to help heal, and lead by example, is like, that is heaven on earth for me.
Yeah,
That is,
absolutely. Oh, Holly, I love you so much. Please tell the people where they could find you on, because
oh,
I'm going to be tagging you in this post as well. I have enjoyed talking to you so
you
much.
as
I'm not
well.
going to wait 4 years again, dude. I'm
No.
hitting you up. I'm hitting you up much sooner than that, because we have so much catching up to do about life.
Yes. Oh,
Oh, that goes far beyond this hour. But
yes.
I have
Oh my
so
God.
much appreciation for you and respect. So, two things that I want to end with. The first one, where can people find you? And then just a final message that you have that maybe is like strong on your heart to really convey before I chime out with you.
Okay. So me on ladyholly.com, on Clubhouse, Lady Holly. I have two accounts on Clubhouse. Don't ask me how that happened. On Instagram, Lady Hollywood, because the young lady who does the anime took my name. And so, and literally, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on iTunes and streaming services all over, Amazon Music. For the old stuff and for the new stuff. So I have a Patreon, but I don't know that it's open just yet, because I started to do all my like audiobooks myself. I was like, why am I doing dip sync when I could do me? And so I started that during part of like the tail end of COVID too. And then what's near and dear to my heart is that goodness, you don't understand how you're making me feel inside. And baby said you don't realize that I won't give up on the way you give it to me. Yes, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Ashe, namaste, hotep, dua, dua,
Oh,
dua, dua, sabiti.
girl. Girl. So much love, peace, and joy to you. Oh my gosh.
Thank
Love, peace,
you.
and joy. This is
Gratitude.
this Can you feel the world shifting right now?
Yes.
Do you just feel it? Do you feel the world shifting? It
Yeah.
is shifting. It is
That's,
shifting.
that's like,
I am building a tribe too, man. And I'm telling you, a million strong, it's coming. It's
I know
coming.
that's right.
Positive energy people, love to the universe. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it's coming.
yes.
Love you
Oh my,
so much.
I
Love
love
you
you.
so much.
I
All
love you.
right.
Have a one
Oh,
blessed evening.
when you get new music out, send
Oh,
it my
yes.
way and I'll drop it.
It is
Okay? All
being
right,
mixed.
I'll
It's
drop
being
it.
mixed and mastered. I love you. Ashe, ashe.
Mm.
Oh. Bye,
Love
baby.
you too, baby
Love
girl.
you. Bye.
Oh, my goodness graciousness. Y'all, we got some deep woman positive freaking strength conversation going. Artists, man. Artists. We are so connected, right? I just want to encourage everybody, don't be bashful when it comes to talking about things. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to talk to the world like I do. Like me, I am so free. I just put it out there because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. But if you have questions, right, find somebody to talk to and ask about certain things that are on your mind, right? Don't jump into situations, right? There is a calling for your life. This you got to know. There's a calling for your life. So you want to make sure that you are traveling down a right path so that you can get to the right destination. You know what I'm saying? And it happens to all of us. We all make those wrong turns, right? Use that to become wiser, right? Use that to become wiser. Be fearless with your gifts, right? Be fearless with your gifts and always strive to just grow and learn. Just grow and learn. We're doing that every single day. Hopefully, we're actually using what we learn to become better, stronger people, right? And we are beautiful. We are powerful. We are fucking goddesses.
They're hot too.
Yes, women are hot too, my daughter says. Oh my gosh. Listen, all right. So really cool conversation. I could talk about this for so much longer, but I'm trying to keep these very short. And my daughter wants to go to the amusement park, so I'm going to be kind of short. Next week, I have my friend Chris Brunetti, who is going to be on live with me. He is an actor. He's been in movies. He has his own production company. He's also a fucking stuntman. Oh my God. And even more than that, he's a veteran. I love my vets. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Everybody out there who has served this country. Oh my gosh. The week after that, I am so freaking stoked about talking to this dude. I'm going to have Eric Bluetooth Griggs on, who is a producer out of LA. He's not just a producer, dude. The people I talk to, I hope you're getting a vibe. They're like all encompassing. All right, they really are. Eric is not just a producer, he is a freaking brilliant musician, and his story is also incredible. So please keep coming back to these. I have people lined up that are going to be blowing your mind, and I'm just loving just being able to share their stories with you, you know? I love you all so much. Listen, universe, I'm so prepared to receive all of the greatness and blessings you have for my life. All right? Live your truth. Live your truth, people. Love you all.